We are into the draft. AD2L Season 10 Heroic League Playoffs. Plasma Nation versus EMPOW4. I'm joined today by Mr. Brian. How are you this fine evening, sir?
Doing quite well. I'm really excited to see this game.
That's all you got, man? I've been waiting a week to hear your voice, and that's all you give me? I don't know. I'm not convinced that you're
I
that
have a
excited.
sweet party I'm going to on Saturday. I don't know.
Well, I don't need your life story, bro. I'm just kidding. So a fantastic first two picks out of Plasma Nation. Two very, very strong picks. Especially been watching our TZ stream in the past week. OD need to demand somebody picks Omni Knight just to babysit him, keep him upright. So very, very annoying to deal with. But that being said, it being picked this early also gives you a few options to kind of draft around it. So not all is lost. There's still hope, Brian.
Yeah, you can look at some of the traditional OD counters. I know he's been changed a few times, but the basics stay the same. If you go after someone like Viper or Razor, it makes OD's life kind of difficult, just because those two particular ranged characters handle his kit very well. So if we see one of those come out mid lane, that would not surprise me, even though they're not incredibly popular. Just because if you see the, you know that you need to deal with OD in the lane phase as opposed to in the mid game when the Omni Knight's just going to be babysitting him, and he might be babysitting him all game. In which case, you're just going to have to outcarry the OD.
Yep, Diffusal, very good item though, for sure.
Diffusal is a very...
Yeah, well, and the nice thing is the ability to upgrade it. So once you run through the charges, depending even on like Mirana or another agility carry, it's still pretty valuable just because of the stats it provides, especially with the level 2 upgrades. So plenty of options here, but still very, very powerful hero that might not be that strong early on in the laning phase, but can definitely whoop some ass in the mid to later game. So. And Omni, just a very, very powerful hero that you kind of have to work around. And if he has good positioning, it's going to be very difficult to take engagements if you're EMPOW. So we shall see.
Yeah,
oh, a small little tidbit too, before I forget. Plasma Nation, I believe they didn't drop a game all in the regular season. I'm almost positive. But and EMPOW4 wouldn't have either. The only two games that they lost, you guessed it, versus Plasma Nation. So maybe a little bit of a little taste of vengeance in the air here.
Definitely one of those things where if you get 2-0'd by a team, you have a little bit more motivation to prepare for the game really, really furiously and kind of sit down, study the previous games, do your homework, and bring your A game, just to show that you can hang with anyone out there. So we'll see how this series goes. EMPOW might definitely be a little bit extra motivated today.
Yeah, actually, Plasma Nation went 9-1, EMPOW4 went 8-2 in the regular season. So only 2 games EMPOW4 dropped, like I said, against Plasma Nation. So this match, I think, means more than your regular playoff matchup, because most of the teams were from different divisions, so they hadn't even seen each other. These two teams very familiar with each other, been scouting each other all season. Now they're in the quarterfinals. That's when it starts to really count. So wondering if they're going to pick up something to set up this Mirana arrow. And there's still quite a few options out there, but you don't want to rely on just, you know, hitting the key and hoping for the best. You might. It's always more advantageous to have something to set up that long range stun. And there's one that you got.
Well, there's something.
Yeah, Nature's Prophet. Yep. Sprout kind of helps with the arrow, but kind of an odd draft here for EMPOW4. I mean, they typically like to run a very aggressive team. They always pick a very, very strong mid laner that can make a lot of moves and fight early, so expect that to come. I think that's probably why they banned the DP and the TA, honestly, just because the captain, Captain Canuck, actually plays a very aggressive mid role most of the time. So not too surprising to see those two bans out.
Well, we'll see. They do have a lot of aggressive potential in this lineup. Lion and Mirana are great roamers, and Furion is definitely an underrated ganker. A lot of players, when they play Furion or see Furion, he'll AFK farm in the jungle for 25 minutes, and then he'll go and feed around the map. But if you watch high-level players play, if you watch professional-level players play, they're much more active. They're using the teleport a lot more frequently, and they're really using that fact that he can be anywhere on the map at a moment's notice to set up a lot more kill opportunities, a lot more push opportunities, and in general be willing to not think that they're farming like a hard carry and play more like another member of the team.
Yeah, it doesn't happen too often, at least in lower level play. But yeah, and from what we've seen, especially in these last couple weeks in the playoffs, that's definitely the case. And I think the nicest thing about the Nature's Prophet is that the hero is so versatile. I mean, you can really itemize him in so many different ways. I mean, you see some that go early stats just for push and for just kind of sustain in the early game when you're being that aggressive team like EMPOW likes to be. But then you can also go for DPS just because he's naturally a very good right clicker. You can go for the all-out push with the Scepter, Octane Core, and Necro 3 if that's your cup of tea, which honestly against Plasma I guess that's not terrible. I mean OD and Clockwork have okay wave clear I guess. And the Coconut, Purify, but I mean you really don't want to be using those skills um, for wave clear, so we'll see which way he goes.
10 seconds
I
to
do
go.
like the Lion first pick. I don't think I mentioned that, but I really like the Lion first pick, especially
5 seconds.
seeing how much that hero can do with such little farming. But honestly, boots, Aether Lens, Blink Dagger, and he's pretty much set, right?
Yeah, you don't even really need the Aether Lens if you can find a blink. And even with just brown boots playing a hard 5 spot, he can be very effective as well. He brings 2 great CCs, and then oh hello.
Told
So
you,
this is going to
aggressive,
be a
baby.
push strat. They're playing
I
auras.
told you.
They're playing some auras. We might see this priestess off lane with a VS last pick.
This looks a lot like a draft. I think who ran it? Who played
10
eHome
seconds
first?
to go.
CDEC ran something
Oh,
very
yeah.
similar. They did all 5 range.
5
They had the
seconds.
Drow carry. And the Nature's Prophet actually, because they kind of missed their timing with the early
Reserve
aggression,
time.
he ended up going for a later Midas just to make sure that he'd be able to progress into the late game. So you
Radiant's
never know,
banned.
man. That Drow pick, I mean,
Yeah.
no one has the balls to ban it because it's like, no one's gonna pick Drow. But when it comes, you're like, oh god, what have we done?
Yeah, it can be very difficult to manage if you don't have a team that can deal with this. And this, I would characterize this
10
as an
seconds to
aura
go.
team, just because the 4 range picks already and the eventual 5th ranged pick will all be playing off of
Radiant's pick.
Drow Ranger's Precision Aura, just to get as much damage as physically possible. And the big way to stop teams like that is having a hard engage. Because if you don't, they can just sit back, kite you, pick you off, harass you down, because they just have more damage unless you can close on them. So Plasma Nation, very fortunate that they already had the Clockwork picked, so they do have that engage opportunity to kind of break up the team, force them into melee range, and oh, that's not what I expected to see.
Well, it kind of goes along with their push strat, but also gives them a stronger degree of team fight, which they really didn't have too much. So, like you
Yeah,
said,
no
yeah, the
kidding.
Clockwork pick, it's huge. And I love the PL pick as well, just because those are 2 heroes that are very good at closing the distance, getting in the face of that Drow Ranger, and just making it so not only does her ultimate deactivate, but also that you can just beat her down really quickly, BKB or not. So, opportunities are there, man.
Yeah, I think this Enigma pick really changes the way things have to go for Plasma Nation. They cannot get behind in the lane phase.
Is that your
If they're
girlfriend in the
unable to,
background, Brian?
you
10
know it.
seconds to go.
She lives across the street and she will not shut up.
See a dog. I honestly, God, that PL pick just really kind of seals it for me. Been following both these teams for quite a bit. Did somebody grab the camera?
Better get ready.
I
don't
have no
think
control
so.
over the camera right now.
Uh,
Are you serious? I actually have no
I
heroes on my
did
map
not
either.
grab.
I have no. All right, let
Oh,
me reconnect here.
probably just lagging. I know you were dropping frames here. Let me deal with the dog real quick.
My apologies for that. I had no heroes on. I had the heroes on the minimap, but I had no heroes actually in the game. So I'll reconnect, see if that fixes the issue here.
About time.
Nope. It's not good. Oh god, it's embarrassing. Alright, well. Oh my gosh, this is so ridiculous. I hate you, Reborn. Alright, I'm gonna restart Dota real quick.
All right. Oh wow, we have level 1 fight.
Give him the
Impale
action, man.
already
I'm
committed.
reconnecting.
The Drow Ranger getting chased down, getting very low, and will actually go down first. PL doing a little bit of diving and picks up the second kill on the Lion. So Plasma Nation coming out with a lot of aggression and bringing an early lead as well. And it looks like EMPOW4 is just going to have to scatter. I don't think they can really turn and fight this. They maybe not have a choice. The Priestess has been caged up, and she looks like she's going to go down as well. That's going to be a 3-0 start.
3 kills already.
Oh, no, just 2. She barely makes it to the safety of the tower.
Alright, let's hopefully this reconnect will resolve
Fix
Reborn.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, the beautiful thing about technology is that you can power cycle most problems away.
Did you unplug it? Did you reset it? And you're good. Alright. Nope, still no hero. Oh, there we go. Oh my gosh, we have... Oh my gosh, this is wonderful.
2-0.
We're in.
2-0 for Plasma Nation and both bounty runes. They're already off to quite a start.
So the Witch Doctor and the PL act. PL goes down. That was that a deny, I imagine then?
PL?
Yeah, he has 1 death and 1 kill.
Oh, yeah. I believe that was a deny. I mean, it didn't show up, so it must have been a deny to the creeps.
Mid Marana, is this actually a thing? Yes, it is. That's
Not that I know of, but it is this game.
Yeah, it is.
That's one way to deal with the OD. He's a very stationary character throughout the early game. So picking a character that just wants to leave lane and gank like a Priestess, that's a good way to apply pressure in other areas of the map where the OD may not necessarily have an impact.
Very odd that and them opting not to go for the more greedy and efficient jungling, but actually just staying in the tri lane here and actually doing the pulling now. So something very unorthodox.
Yeah, they ended up getting a really good cask, so he fast skilled Midnight Pulse to win the fight.
Yeah, he can't really jungle with Midnight Pulse.
Now he'll start jungling level 2. If they can afford to give the Clockwork that free space against Drow.
Jeez, so much early damage.
Yeah, she's going to be struggling until she has Frost Arrow and Gust available. But once she has those, there's not a lot the Clockwork can really do. So that lane should tilt heavily in Drow's favor around level 3 or 4.
Speaking of which, the Nature's Prophet basically just kind of gave up on the lane, which we've seen multiple times with these more aggressive tri lanes, and yeah, there's not a whole lot you can do against that. So a lot of nuke damage. You got the cast coming out too, and actually they know that he's here, and they're gonna come check out, see what he's up to. So likely an Iron Talon will probably come out. And oh my gosh, an arrow for the ages here.
He could
but
sprout here.
There's not a whole lot of follow-up here. Yep, he'll have the heal, and
just missed the leap.
Not going to be able to get it, but they're still going to get the last hit. And actually, the Witch Doctor dropping dangerously low. There's already boots on the stage. She's just going to TP ahead. They come to get 1, 2. OD comes in here with a clutch Astro, but gets arrowed in the process. Fantastic play. And I think with the Omni responding, they're just going to have to get out. And I think the Nature's Prophet's actually going to lose his life. But a lot of early movement around here. Both teams not afraid to make early rotations here. EMPOW4 that's definitely been one of their better qualities. They've been able to rotate fairly seamlessly throughout most of the matches. So not a fantastic trade for them in the end, though.
No, they ended up picking off the Omni Knight, but with the short respawn timers, it ended up costing them. I think if that had been, even a couple minutes down the road, Omni Knight had been, a couple levels higher, he would have been dead for another 5 seconds, and that would have been enough to pick up the OD kill.
Yeah, tri-lane things though, he was still very low level. So Nature's Prophet actually going right for the phase boots. Not really concerned about Iron Talon or jungling or anything like that, but
I think that's the right call.
Yeah, he wants
not
to
having
bully up the PA.
Mana regen's gonna hurt him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
BL's still with a lot of regen though. Still has 2 tangos and he still has a decent amount of HP, so it's gonna take quite a few more right clicks here. I am really curious to see what this Mirana does. Maybe I think they moved the Mirana to a core that wasn't the initial plan, but just because they really want to have the diffusal blade, perhaps. Because Drow, I mean, that's not really something you want to get on a Drow.
Yeah.
And speaking of
that's
Drow,
one
she's actually
possibility.
going onto the Clockwork, and I think with Clockwork might just be dead, and the Nature's probably going to rotate in, hopefully get that last auto attack, but the bottle
not
charge in
quite.
between. So he's going to come down here pretty much for nothing. I think the Drow could have finished. Does she have? Yeah, she has boots, and plenty more frost arrows, so that actually could have been a kill, but they just trusted that the Nature's Prophet would be able to get that last hit.
Yeah, the Cog's placement was also really good. She wasn't able to reach him.
Yeah.
Just because she would have been pushed back and missed the kill anyways.
Yeah, only level 1 in frost arrows, which is, I mean, you really don't want to put too many more points into that, especially this early. It's just not that. Alright, we have a pause, so I'm gonna adjust my sound real quick. I had to adjust it for the I was watching the major in game. And the audio is just so bad for the casters. It's just so quiet. So I had to turn everything else like really far down. Provide an actual reason or we will unpause. Well, since we have a break here, let's check out what we have going on here. So, PL and OD at top in the last hit charts. So they're doing very, very well in their lanes. OD with the bottle rush, which is fairly common for the mid. Not quite as efficient as with most heroes, but yeah, with that lower level in this passive, you only got level 3.
Alright, carry on.
Not so easy to proc with your mana pool being so low early on, so makes sense. Is this more of like a stat kind of build up for the Drow, do you think? Just to be able to fight early on?
Top tower's hurting.
Hard to know. She is going for the fast Aquila, so that would indicate at least some mindfulness about the early game.
Tower's in bad shape.
But it again, really hard to know if she wants to go for stats like maybe an S and Y or something, or if she just wants to build towards more damage-focused items. For the Drow, I think you can pick up one intermediate item, but then you really have to start getting high agility items just because the team's going to start scaling back fairly rapidly, and you want to maximize the amount of time where precision aura on the supports is going to be super impactful.
Another kill, the Phantom Lancer taking out the Enigma. I'm not even sure why he rotated there. There wasn't much he could do. The tower was already being in jeopardy as the PL was cutting the creep wave, so goes up by his lonesome. Only level 4, and the PL actually getting his ultimate, now hitting level 7. After one more creep here.
Clockwork bottom, doing a little bit of ganking action on the Drow.
Yeah, and actually that's going to be perfect too, because they need to kill her early and off, because she's kind of the ringleader of this whole early aggression coup, so... Clockwork,
Yeah,
still not
she
level
was not
6, but
able
they don't need it, so she must have been a little too far forward, I imagine, huh?
Well, he looped around in the jungle and came up from behind. The Witch Doctor did an amazing job setting up the Paralyzing Cask, and the Drow Ranger just kept getting animation canceled through the Gust from the Battery Assault.
That will happen. So one thing really to point out here is the discrepancy in CS between the mid laners here. Captain Canuck only 9 and 2 versus the OD who's 38 and 27. So quite a level discrepancy too between them. Almost 2 full levels, and actually she's, oh my gosh, last second leap. One more auto attack before the hammer was dropped, and that might have been a kill, but. Nature's not about TPing in, but thinks wiser as he notices the Omni's here. But Omni, he has a mango on him, so he's not completely futile. Drow moves top, just done with the Clockwork. So Clock will get free reign, free XP, and he's actually level 6 now. So hook shots coming.
Mid tower's coming apart.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really not happy that they went with the Priestess mid. I just don't think that character can deal with OD at all. When you see an OD draft pick, you know that mid lane's going to be rough. So you have to either commit to someone who just needs to find some EXP and then leave, or you need to go after someone who can actually farm and fight against OD. And there are very few picks who can do that, but there are picks that can do that. Priestess is not one of them, and Priestess has not been leaving to find kills and has not been able to farm or get levels here, so I'm not really sure what the plan was, since we have not seen any rotations out of the Priestess
Another
yet.
fantastic arrow, but there's literally no follow-up at all.
And
just kind of
they're
showing off at
just
this
throwing out
point.
arrows
Yeah.
because they have mana.
Yep, why not, I guess.
But if you're playing Priestess, you need to be out of lane earlier than 6. You need to be around the map. You need to be ganking, finding space, because you're clearly not getting anything done in lane. So you need to be.
I'm of the same mind. I was kind of thinking at the first nighttime she might start moving around and try to make a couple plays. Obviously, you don't have a whole lot in your repertoire at that point other than an arrow or two. So.
Yeah, level 5 is kind of when that mid laner can move around the map, and all she really needs to do is run where line is. Oh, that's an item choice.
PL going for the super farm and split push mode. So I mean, he is by far and away the net worth leader by 2,000 gold at 9 minutes. So I mean, the world is his
got
oyster.
72 CS.
The world is his oyster. Yeah, which is a ridiculous stat. Speaking of CS, the Enigma, who's just really struggling, 41, but I mean, he's really got nothing at the moment. Black Hole is online once he gets the mana to do so, but yeah, he's typically you'd like to see the mech or the Blink Dagger be done or very close to finished at this point, so not quite there.
Radiant's bottom tower ain't a pretty sight right now.
I hear a lion impale. There we go. Drop picks up a kill here. Unfortunately, won't get credit for it. And they're going to try for another arrow. It's going to miss on the Omni Knight. I think he's just gone. No TP available for the Prophet.
Trouble brewing at Radiant.
He's got repel, so he needs repel TP.
So much damage though, just in those couple right clicks. So you see how scary it can be, but once Omni hits 6 and that ultimate comes on, it's going to be a lot more difficult for the right clicks to come out. So BL cutting the creep wave one more time here.
Radiant's top tower.
Enigma comes
I'm
down.
honestly surprised that they went for the draft they did after seeing the Omni Knight.
Guess what's happening to Dyer's
Yeah.
And then even then into the clockwork, that seems really dangerous to me. Oh, big black hole.
Huge black hole onto 3, but wow. They get both? Oh yeah, they got.
Yeah.
Okay. Unfortunately, again, they don't get credit for a kill here. Witch Doctor killed by the neutral creeps, but they'll split the gold, get some XP. Mirana still has yet to give us any kind of inclination of which way she's going with this build. Just face boots in the bottle so far with the Wraith Band. So a lot of options, like we mentioned, but
Phase boots are in the usually you'll see her go treads for the attack speed. So maybe this won't be a diffusal build, which, I mean, you'd expect to see the diffusal come out of Priestess here because you're playing against the Omni Knight. But the phase boots just seem really strange to me. Not only on that character, because tread switching for an extra arrow is really good, but with the diffusal you want to be attacking fast to burn a lot of mana, so the phase boots seem odd to me. Maybe it'll be an SNY build.
yeah. Alright, Plasma Nation move in and they're going to take their second tower of the game. Only the mid T1 remaining at the moment, and it looks like EMPOW4 are going to look to trade the same. They take the mid T1. Flip already used, so he's going to go down the Enigma and take credit for that. And he's got 1500, so if he wants to start working towards the mech, which not an ideal timing, arrow comes out. Not going to land though. That's another thing too. Even if the arrows do connect, it's so hard for them to follow up with it. You know, there's just no positioning. The heroes aren't mobile whatsoever. They can actually pick up a kill here. The Witch Doctor.
Dyer's mid tower could use a little help.
Looks like I think that was the Eidolon. So that the Eidolon?
Just missed the arrow. Where for the Witch Doctor?
Yeah.
I was watching the PL try to evade a gank on the top part, so I did not see.
As was I. Well, OD getting very, very strong. Both the PL and the mid player for Plasma Nation atop the net worth chart. And they're getting ready to steamroll. They got the early stats on the OD. PL's already got his farming on him. He's going to have his defusal of his own very, very shortly. As he just now eclipses 100 CS. And this is I guess this is the closest they're going to get to their timing for EMPOW4. They're just going to start taking objectives, get nice net worth buff on everybody. Okay, and Drow actually is going to go drums too, so drums Aquila, so kind of statting up like you mentioned. And they went no black hole for 30 seconds here. That Omni Knight just making sure that repel's always on the OD, but it's worn off now. They get an arrow off and they can just combo him down. Nice chaining of disables and he's dead.
Yeah, this is the point in time where Plasma Nation needs to recognize the strength of EMPOW's draft, and they have to group up and start fighting as a team and just kind of wait it out. If they can weather the storm without losing too many towers, without losing too many team fights, they're going to come back and they're going to win after the support right clicks kind of fall off the map in terms of damage.
Going with the double Ring of Aquila build here for EMPOW4. Drow has it.
Yeah.
Now the Priestess has it as well. And we have an invisible
I'm
clockwork
surprised the
here,
Priestess got
and
it.
that is going to be a very, very ballsy call if he decides to go for it. But
I think he's going to.
he's waiting for Lion just to make one. Okay. I think now's his chance here. The Enigma's kind of away. He does have Black Hole, but you don't want to commit it.
He
to
has
Clockwork.
support coming in as well from up
Yep, they're
north.
wrapping around. OD can Astral if he'd like to. Nope, Clockwork's just gonna go right in here. And yeah, there's no way that's gonna get
Oh,
no way he's gonna get away here. Misses the hook, but I mean they got what they came for, so. And actually a Lion finds a Wild Witch Doctor whose heal is doing so much work right now, but and oh my gosh, they gives time for the Omni to get around to heal him, and now Lion's on the back end of this and he's gotta get out. There's no one even near, so Clockwork can pop Battery Assault now. Yep, and they'll just beat him down. The pure damage coming from the OD just already so strong.
yeah, it's only going to get stronger. Yeah, I think I mentioned it earlier where you kind of need to win your lane against the OD, or you're going to have to deal with them another way. And EMPOW drafted a draft that kind of has to come out of the early game, at least even, if not ahead, just by virtue of the fact that they don't have a lot of utility on their draft. They're all just kind of right clicks. And they didn't accomplish that in really any sense of it. They're way behind in CS. I believe they're way behind in levels as well. It's just they don't really have a good comeback mechanism either. The best thing they have is Black Hole into hoping they have raw damage from items.
And it looks like Marana has the first Blade of Alacrity, so could be S&Y, could be the Diffusal, which we would assume, and Clockwork now stopping TPs for days here. Nature's just dead on the screen, trying so hard to get that teleport off, but the cast animation canceled from the Battery Assault. Just too strong. That was almost as pathetic as watching an Earthshaker try to get off anything at all against a Clockwork.
Oh yeah.
Just so
Sometimes
sad.
you can get the enchant totem off, but the cast animation for
Marana goes in
just
for a
too
quick
long.
kill, but she will pay with her life.
Not quite quick enough.
No, uses the leap aggressively, so she's unable to be a way out of the fight. So Blink Takers that pick up for OD, which is just fine. He has a lot of early stats with the tread switching and the drums, so the Blink offers him a lot more safety, as Nature's actually takes out the Clockwork top. So get 2 kills across the map. Also losing the Marana though. So the Midas was picked up on the Natures, like I mentioned briefly, just to kind of, since they're not really hitting their timing as hard as they'd like, just to kind of ensure have some late game security.
Yeah, and it
And
looks
he's
like it will
going
be
for an
Orchids.
Orchid now, which I don't really know how I feel about that. It's gonna be difficult to get in the face of this team, so if you want to get it on the Omni Knight, which will most likely be the best target, it's not gonna be easy.
It might be for OD, just to take away his ability to spam Arcane Orb for a period of time.
Yeah, but the Omni Knight has this spell, a couple of spells
Yeah,
that help him out,
I know.
so I don't
Repel
really see.
purge it out, so.
Yeah, I don't really know why that would be his go-to. And PL actually finding the drought, but with no real way to stop him. Yeah, he's just been exploding in terms of farm. He's already at 9,200 net worth. BOT is just going to work. He's farming the map so effectively. 157 last hits already, and no sign of slowing down. The only problem here is that the Omni Knights, he's just so darn poor, but his positioning's been very good so far. He's been able to help a couple teammates from death, so no scepter or any big items coming his way anytime soon. But he's got his mango still, his lucky mango from the laning phase, so all is well.
I think he is set. He has mana boots, so he's not going to have huge mana issues. I think I would have rather seen him go for the Soul Ring, just because I really like that item on Omni Knight.
He likes it on you too. Yeah, that's I think that's pretty core, but I think with the way the tri-lane went, I mean the guy was just getting nothing, so I mean he's not even kill stealing with purification, so come on, that's what the hero's made for, right? Clockwork goes in. Speaking of Clockwork, he's getting gone on in mid, and they're gonna use a lot to actually get the kill here, so Enigma goes down, so no black hole here, and they can get another Astral off, and they'll be able to pick up the line as well. Perhaps an arrow here to save his buddy. No, he's not even gonna bother. Repel's already in it, doing work. Line has no mana for anything at all. Arrow goes right to the Repel. Huge play right there. Omni just kind of zoning, scaring off the Miranda, who's just running rampant from the PL, but it's just not enough. And he actually, yeah, he can doppel down there, and Lance is up again. And she's just dead. Furion's still trying to rat his way to victory, but he's just not pushing fast enough. The Midas phase boot's just not doing enough damage and pushing the lanes quick enough, so.
Another thing is that he went 2 Robes of the Magi right off the bat. I was not... I don't think that was the way to go about that build. Even if you just build up for a single Oblivion staff, that makes a way bigger impact. Just the damage and attack speed off the quarter staff is so much more important than the 12 damage from the Robe of the Magi. Like you have 10 damage and 10 attack speed on the quarter staff. It's just better for what they need to be doing.
Yeah, and it's not like he's starved for mana either. Like the guy has not been back to well since he died last. So I mean he's
he's not really spamming spells that aggressively. So he's doing just fine in terms of that stuff. I just it's hard to question it because he really didn't get any farm in lane. So I think he just had to pick up whatever he could find at the time and sort of edge his way towards advantages. And now that he has space, it's suboptimal. But depending on how the game went, maybe the damage and the intelligence would have been just enough to push him over in a couple team fights.
No bueno. Well, PL already has so many options right now. This could be a casual Yashigo for something a little more aggressive. It could be SNY, Manta. A lot of ways he can go about it. Very, very far ahead, and yeah, like I said before, the world's his oyster right now. He had a really nice start. They got they got the early tower, and then he rotated bottom. They got another tower, so a couple kills under his belt. So it's I don't even know how they're gonna deal with him. I mean, they really have no way of combating these illusions. So if a Scotty or a Heart is picked up, I really am not sure what they're gonna be able to do. I think their best weapon would be Midnight Pulse at that point, right?
Well, the only thing they can do is Black Hole and use the damage from Black Hole to find the real one and then kill the real one in the duration of Black Hole. But as soon as that Scotty or that Heart comes online, it's going to be so much more difficult to do that.
Yeah, that's no kidding. Well, that's the thing. It's if you commit that, I feel like you have to get both the OD and the PL in the Black Hole, and I'm sure an Omni Knight, if he's not already taken out, will be doing something to help mitigate that damage if he's not caught in the Black Hole himself. So it's going to be rough.
The Witch Doctor's going to throw out Paralyzing Cask. The Clockwork could hook shot in to cancel the Black Hole.
Yeah.
They're not in a good position to deal with most of the threats on Plasma Nation's draft. And that's partially because the draft they're running is kind of a cheese. It's the Aura comp. Everyone who's played pubs for a while has seen it once or twice. And it's only really good if you don't know how to beat it. But if you know kind of the tools that you need to have in a draft to beat a style like that, it's something that doesn't see a lot of wins. against teams that understand how to draft against it. And Plasma Nation has the clockwork, and they basically got uncontested lanes, and that's not something that you can do and still expect to win on a draft that sort of relies on one kind of gimmicky timing. So they sort of lost this one before it even began. I think a big part of that was the level 1 team fight might have gotten in their heads a little bit. They got behind a little bit from that, and everything just kind of spiraled out of control from there.
Yeah, I mean I'm not even going to say the T word, but I mean that's definitely something that, like you said, gets in your head and kind of sets the tone for the game, especially, you know, if you already are kind of worried about hitting a timing with your lineup, and then you get set back like that, and you have a awkward laning phase in the middle lane. So, I mean, yeah, the score might say 10 to 11, but it sure as hell doesn't feel like it. If I dare to explore the graphs, yeah, it's net worth. Actually, the lead isn't too bad, just because there's so much farm on just 2 heroes on Plasma Nation, so it's not too bad because it's more evenly spread on EMPOW4. But this could be a very, very quick Roche. A lot of people underestimate the ability of an OD to take down Roche. It's quite effective at it.
Yeah, pure damage is pretty good, I hear.
Pretty good, yeah. And I think they have an idea, but they're starting to ping it out now. But it's okay.
It's gonna be too late.
Yeah, Plasma Nation's just gonna disengage. Actually, I think they're worried about the black hole combo. And this combo as well.
They saw the Eidolon came in, so they knew that they'd been scouted out.
Black Hole Blink Dagger is up. This is still a very, very underfarm Enigma. Does have a Glimmer Cape though, which will help him out a lot. But so with a lineup that wants to push like this, Lion actually misses the stun here. And they're not going to be able to take down the Witch Doctor in time. Clockwork comes in, cogs are dropped, and the ultimate hammer dropped by the OD. And he's just going to blow everybody up. 4 down already, Drow goes down. Triple kill for the Outward Devourer. Ratman still alive, but his team just absolutely decimated here. And that's a huge, huge XP and gold change here. And really, the only thing they really committed, I mean, I understand the Gangle was used, but they didn't really need it. I mean, the Witch Doctor died anyway, but be that as it may, this is another opportunity for Roche, and it looks like Plasma Nation is going to take it.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like EMPOW is just not playing up to their potential. Part of it might be that they have a stand-in right now. I don't know how much he's played with the team in the tournament.
Kickslade's on the team. I don't know why it's a stand-in. He's on the team. The Enigma?
No. The Furion. Guru Pathic? Is he on the team as well?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
So,
then the lack
this is
of
just a
coordination
different.
from the
It's
Furion is
just a weird
weird.
draft. Like they play aggressively. Okay, so 1-man black hole this time. Omni's just running away, and here comes the Orchid out. It's going on the Omni Knight. They're just gonna right click him down. He's not gonna be able to get anything off. So that's what we were talking about. Odie actually able to make it out. Potentially pops the drums. Everyone knows exactly where he is. He has no blink. Clockwork comes in. Just gonna hit creeps, but they. Oh my gosh, OD's still not dead here. OD actually getting a kill on the Enigma.
Well.
Yeah. Unreal. And Lion, so close. Yeah. Not much he can do. Yeah, actually opting only 1 point in Doppelgangers, 4 points in Phantom Rush, maxing it out right away. So he's able just to run everybody down. And with that Yasha and the BOTs, he's just incredibly fast. This looks like a lane.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything they can do, even with the short respawn timers. What are they going to do? They weren't able to kill the OD on a 1-man black hole where they commit everything on the OD.
Yeah, and that was without Omni doing anything. Omni was orchided up almost immediately. He was staying out of range for the black hole. And yeah, this is going to be a lane. Black hole down, obviously. Clockwork comes back in, this time on the Drow, who's just so damn squishy, man. All she has is a Shadow Amulet right now. And this might cause... Oh, they're actually the Shadow Amulet used perfectly, and she's going to make it out, so she won't go down. Aegis is popped. A huge arrow coming out onto the Witch Doctor, but now Mirana just food right now, and they will end up taking the racks. Only an Aegis and Omni Knight expended.
Radiant's bottom rags.
And PL goes right back to farming.
If you're coming into this game with a bit of a chip on your shoulder, you want to show that you can hang with the best of them, this was not the best showing to show that. And actually, the way they drafted for an Aura team, makes me wonder if they're a little bit scared if they came into this intimidated by the fact that they lost previously, because, like you said, they've been drafting contrary to their regular play style. They didn't draft something that wants to go toe-to-toe. They drafted something that wants to set the tone and kind of win by catching their opponents off guard. And I think that the way they set up the draft order kind of hid that very well for a long time, but then when they drafted it into a series of counter picks. And then they just were unable to execute the roster kind of the way it's supposed to be executed. So I'm wondering how their mindset was going into this game, what their thoughts were, and I don't believe I saw the previous series, so I'm wondering how badly they lost in the previous series to kind of have this mindset going into the game.
I think they're missing their captain there, had a couple stand-ins as well, so. And this poor Furion, one more time, battery assault just doing work right now, and OD is godlike already. And they're gonna get one more kill. This time they're gonna pick it up with the Enigma Sentry Ward placed. They will get the kill.
Radiant's top tower.
I don't know how you defend this. I really don't. They just call it GG.
Yeah,
The
you don't.
the PL picked up 2 huge items. He upgrades his Diffuse Look at Scotty and Manta all within about 5.5 minutes. So with all these objectives being taken, there's really just no recourse. So a little bit quicker than at least I estimated. I did not see that happening that quickly, honestly, but
Well, for that draft, I was expecting to know who was going to win by 25 minutes, but I didn't expect it to be over by 25 minutes.
Exactly. OD just really just running away with everything, and PL just that added insurance policy there. Enigma really unable to make too much of an impact. Lion as well. The Draw Ranger really doing what the hero does, but it's just that with the clockwork and the OD just doing so much damage to being able to close that gap, and the PL as well, it's just there's not a whole lot you can do. And you're not gonna out split push a PL that's that big either, so unfortunate. EMPOW4 do lose game 1. Plasma Nation takes the victory, and they'll look to close it out in game 2 here. Any last thoughts, my friend, before we get into the second game?
I really hope that EMPOW gives us a little bit better draft the next time. I want to see them really bring their A game. This felt kind of like a something that maybe they'd prepared and practiced, but not really thought through entirely. So I'd like to see them go back to their roots and kind of play the team that they are and put their best face on. And
I agree. All right. Grab a glass of water, grab a drink, use the restroom, take a couple minutes, and we'll get into game 2 for you guys.